Okay, it's Sherry here again on non-broadcast. Shut the fuck up. WSTFU. I'm not broadcasting this live. I'm just recording it for future reference. It is 2:47 a.m. and it is June 29th, 2018. And what I'm doing tonight, just trying to figure out several projects that are sort of come together a little bit, but not all of them. One of them, first and foremost, is to get some accurate news, and that's not easy. I think everyone knows that right now. In the United States, it's not easy at all. A couple of strange things happened tonight, but it's kind of the middle of the night, so I'm just kind of getting my bearings here. It's ever since the Canada trip, which starts at the end of May, I guess. Let's see, what would that be? I think someone goes to Canada. Someone's dad goes to Canada at the end of May, I think. Yeah. Middle of May. And it has just been complete and utter hell here. It was loud. It gets really loud. It's like the, Bluetooth fuckheads that screw up the entire internet. Have, Bluetoothing every church, prison, jail, and hospital they go by with their temporary camping that they overrun. And actually, I'm going to check and see. I've been tracing these same phones. I call them the pervert phones, and I think pretty much everybody else calls them that too, except for the people who use them. And so here we go. I'm on the Princeton OIT Support and Operations Center. They are the ones who I think originally identified these phones and these persistent campers. And they literally do mean campers. Got resolved and concur on the 28th. They had a problem. They had a planned outage. So I watch a lot of this stuff. It affects really the whole internet. And I think there's a couple of big problems of groups, organized groups, that are using some of these pervert phones. One of them would be the I don't know if you'd call it a company or organized crime syndicate, but the Concord Southern Baptist Association in Fort Smith, which has 2 physical buildings. And the reason I say 2 physical buildings is because I know the structure of the Southern Baptist organization, and it's not normal to have physical buildings on an association level, and they've got 2 of them in Fort Smith. And the name Concord Southern Baptist Association doesn't even make any sense. It's like, what the fuck is that? So they're the ones who originally bought a guy in Van Buren, I don't know his name. There's been a lot of cartoons and TV shows made kind of about the noise that came from Van Buren. I think they're out of that now. But he originally bought the Iranian cell phones probably around 2011, or maybe even after, maybe about 2014. Bunch of pastors bought a glut of Iranian cell phones, and they had a mobile platform from AT&T that's kind of like a call center, and they would have one phone. These were flip phones. They'd have one phone that didn't actually connect to the internet, and it was 479-322-8080. And the second I saw that phone number, I was like, what the hell would you want the phone number with the last 4 digits 8080? That's a local, that's a remote local host. And they act like it was no big deal, and then they denied after, which was stupid to deny that they got the cell phones from Iran after they told me, because then that indicates maybe they knew they were doing something wrong to me. So they brought all these phones over and or had them shipped over from Iran. And I'm thinking, okay, what about Stuxnet and that whole thing going on with the Iranian nuclear power plants and everything. And I just was like, I wonder why. And then they have these, brochures that came out from that particular Concord Southern Baptist Association, which may or may not be a real place, because that, first of all, it didn't used to be called that, but it is now. And so that cell phone, the 479-322-8080, had all that call center software on it. And they also had a Blackberry. I'm not familiar with that phone very much because I have dyslexia really bad. I can't use the keypad. I can't figure it out. But I really like the look of it, so I wish I could. So I found an old Blackberry here, and I assumed that since someone had discarded it, that it was no longer being used, and so I took it apart, being me. So I just wanted to look at the, how it was made and everything, look at the operating system and stuff, and then the person who owns the phone got really angry with me, and said that the phone number was still in service. So I'm like, well, I didn't know. Most people, when they, discard a phone, they quit using that cell phone plan. So I was really not understanding why the person was so mad. But then they didn't give me too much problem about it afterwards, I guess. So anyway, back to that phone with the 479-322-8080. When I went to Little Rock in 2015, I just basically left in the middle of the night. I've never done anything like that before or since. I left in the middle of the night. I didn't even take my medications. I didn't take anything with me. I left my dog sitting on my bed. So it was obviously there was something terrible going on. All I remember is hearing a loud shout that said, "Get out." But it didn't sound like they were yelling at me like I was getting kicked out. It sounded like, "Danger, danger, get out." So I took it very seriously. And then for some reason I saw something in the house that scared me. I just got up, didn't take anything, went to Little Rock. Well, I couldn't call anybody back here because they literally had their phone numbers changed. So that 479-322-8080 phone, I've heard that it's in Oklahoma somewhere, but I don't know that to be a fact. And they had, I think it was either a server or a Stingray that went with it. And I've sustained a lot of sonic boom injuries from that type of thing. I don't know why someone would want to just fuck up sound equipment and literally hurt people all the time with it, but they did. And so anyway, back to basically whatever. I'm just trying to get organized here, getting my telehealth back in service, because all these phishing attempts and phishing and pervert phones really interfere with telehealth. And that's, I think, what the take-home message of this little voice memo is, that your little mesh networks, because Microsoft doesn't even put the software out for those mesh networks, that low latency radio frequency that use to connect one phone to another without having to pay. I don't even think they're doing it in Silicon Valley anymore with phone networks, where everybody just they did it in Hong Kong for a protest one time, the Umbrella Movement. One phone just sends a very low latency radio signal to another phone, so you have to be in proximity with certain people. So if, for instance, you were a bus driver and you had this phone, and every time you picked up a child on the way to your whatever place you were taking them to, some kind of a school or a Sunday school or something, each time you stopped and picked up a child, you could always, proximity that phone till you've strung together a Bluetooth bomb, basically. Turns out that way for me anyway. So my thing is, well, just pay for the fucking minutes, don't steal everybody's Wi-Fi. And I think Princeton OIT support agrees, or otherwise they wouldn't investigate these situations. And it's kind of an old white man thing, because they got used to getting free Wi-Fi when they were camping at RV sites. So they thought, well, we'll just use this to pay for all our cell phone, well, not pay for it, for steal cell phone minutes and not pay. So it's a lot of old, pasty white guys and who were on Cialis, unfortunately, and seem to have brain damage. Anyway, that's kind of a little thing there. So I guess I'll put this online. Why not? There's no video to it. It's just kind of like a Galaxy Cast with no video, which is usually just me filming like a Rubik's Cube or something, so it doesn't matter. But anyway, I'm kind of taking my time here because I'm just getting my bearings after a really just horrendous time when there were some people going on vacation in May. It's just been non-stop sound 24/7. I can't turn this radio off, and I've got friends on the street next to me who have the same issue. We have all been blessed with these precious little radio signal, and none of us, though, communicate using that system. So it's just me here on South Coker Street, located somewhere in the backyard at 515 South Coker, in the backyard by the barn. That's where the address is, not the house. I don't know why. And then the people on Gum can also hear, but we don't take any orders from the I don't know what they would call them. The broadcaster. But since it's a broadcast, sometimes we'll overhear, unfortunately for us, just crap. So once in a while I'll meet, my neighbor is a Vietnam vet. Once in a while we'll go and he'll take me to the store or something and we'll talk or whatever a little bit. And since he's got a lot of these noise issues too, we can barely communicate with our mouths, because we're so used to having to listen to the crap that these people, they live by it, man. Like if that little voice, on their little radio tells them to do something, they get up and do it no matter how fucking weird it is. And we're all dissenters, me and the people on Gum. And now I see I've got a cousin who mows the lawn on Gum, so I'm really glad to see him there. He's a real good guy. And he's a lot older than me, but he's a real good guy. We talked to him the other day, and he was really nice. Just really good to see him and see a family member out there, especially out there on Gum, knowing he was actually working, mowing the lawn and stuff. So I talked to him for just a little bit. He's the kind of person that wouldn't just jump and take an order from a little command voice in the ear. It's just, I don't know why a church would get into that stuff, but I don't know if they have more control over it, if they can turn it on, turn it off. The first I saw them using it, they were using little like Bluetooth earpieces that kind of look like hearing aids. I was like, why are you wearing like a lady's pink fanned hearing aid to the hospital? And they were like, well, it's not a hearing aid, it's a Bluetooth device. And I was like, what the fuck, man? That doesn't sound like a good thing to wear into an emergency room. That would have been Sparks 2015. And then as time went on, we started to be able to hear their broadcasts as well, and it's like, what the hell are these people doing? I mean, it's like pornographic, it's violent. They talk about schools and stuff. I mean, it's just hideous, and it's like, holy crap, how can you have this time where you pray real loud in your houses, and then this, you hear this goddamn porn and violence? And so most of the pastors that I spoke with just stopped doing it. They, to their credit, only a few actually ended up broadcasting where I could hear it. But I explained to them, look, I'm hearing you praying really loud while I hear this violence and porn, and they stopped. They just figured out how to fix it and stopped. And so I only know a couple of people left there doing it. It's obnoxious, and it interferes with the world. So, anyway, I'm going to get back to reading the news and working on my stuff. I found some stuff from some people from Watch People Code. That's what I've been trying to do today, was get on stream on Watch People Code. And that's it. Okay, I'm out.